Hello, welcome to your message of hope and healing being delivered this week through the form of a channeled message plus your pick a card oracle card reading. My name is Jessica Erie and I am an intuitive guide. It is my passion to help you empower yourself through alchemizing your fears into self-love and seeing your life circumstances through a higher perspective. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to receive notifications of my weekly channeled messages that are for you. And make sure you're looking at the bottom of the timestamps. If you see there are different chapters of where I start each card, the channeled message. If you pick more than one card, you have more than one message waiting for you. Let's get started. The word that came up today for the channeled message is birth. So I set the intention now that the messages that flow from me to you are for our highest good, for our healing and evolution during this time. When you think of the word birth, you think of new life. Yet many of you are in the cycle of giving birth to something new, even though it feels like you are lost. Let's think of the stages that one goes through when they are actually giving birth to another human being. I've never had a child, and I honor and respect everyone who has. I am metaphorically speaking. You may be someone who is trying to have a baby at this moment, or you may be someone who is trying to start a new business, a new career, a new relationship. You may be birthing a new way of being. You may be trying on a new way of being healthy. Let's think about these stages. Before the egg is fertilized, there is a metaphysical process that we do not understand of a soul linking up with another soul, making an agreement to come into this earth. If you have been trying to start a new business or something new and it's not lining up and you feel like it's not working out and you still are working diligently and trying to find that new path, or you're just walking on the new path and you're in the beginning stages and you still feel lost, stay the course, because some things are lining up that you cannot see that must take place in order for your new venture to come to fruition. If you feel like you are going through a grieving process of death and letting go, whether you have lost a loved one in your life or things in your life just keep falling away, like you lose a job or you lose a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or things just aren't working out, know that this is necessary in order for new life to come in. As the farmer has a seed he needs to plant for a new crop, he also needs to tend to harvesting that crop and allowing the soil to be vacant and rest during the winter so it becomes fertile and can hold the nutrition for a new crop. So you may be in the phase of after the harvest, between the fall and the spring. What do we call that? Winter. And boy, do I hate winter. It is cold, it is dark, it is sometimes lifeless, feels very lonely at times, but know that this is only a season and you will be coming through it. And when you come through that season, it is for a purpose. There is so much going on beneath the surface that you cannot see. We are telling you this so you stay the course, so you are encouraged, that you understand that there is hope. There's more than hope. There is healing in this time for you. During this time of restoration, you may need to be sleeping more. You may need to go inward and meet some of those, what some of you call demons, what some of you call shadows, those parts of yourself that need a little tending to and understanding in order to then take on the new role that you want to achieve. There is a metaphor that's coming to me now that I heard a spiritual teacher, Robert Ohotto, say this. It's not, I'm not going to say it as a metaphor, but it's a story that he told about these people who win the lottery, and they think that getting all of that money will give them a new life and things will change and life will get easier. But in actuality, what has happened to most of those people who won the lottery is they couldn't handle it. It didn't make those parts of them that were not able to hold an income or keep their finances straight. It didn't heal that part of them. They still live with that part of them. So if some of them had a gambling problem and they didn't heal the gambling problem and they won the lottery, you can see that all of the pain and suffering that comes with a gambling problem and all of the hardship that comes with that just gets intensified with more money. So if you are in a phase right now of waiting, if you're in that winter phase of waiting for the spring to plant your seed, it is a good time to go in and meet those shadows and heal those parts of you that will not be able to handle the huge, exciting new role that you are going to be taking on in the spring. This time is to be used wisely so you can, it's kind of like a period of growing up, of being honest with yourself through spiritual maturity. If you're waiting for that relationship and it's not coming, and you really have this intuitive feeling that it's something inside of you that you need to heal that keeps sabotaging yourself. This is a shadow called the saboteur. Or you need to get out of a relationship and you can't because you keep sabotaging yourself. Whatever it is that you know that your intuition is telling you right now, that there's something there that you need to get in touch with, that needs your attention and love, that can no longer be ignored. The way we heal that part of us, we don't get rid of it. We bring attention and love to it. We nurture it in the way that it was never nurtured as a child, so it can be integrated into the whole of us. Let me just see if there's anything else here that wants to come through. If you're in the stages of pregnancy with a new endeavor, bringing new life into the world, it is wise to see if you are nurturing that project, that thing that you are trying to birth. Is it getting enough nourishment? Are you getting enough nourishment? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you overworking yourself because you feel that this thing has to get done and you're depleting your energy and your immune system and your relationships? If you are now in the labor stages of birthing this new thing in your life, and you've already gone through the pregnancy phase and it is so difficult and you feel like giving up, do not give up. Labor is messy. I do not know this from personal experience. I honor the people who have given birth. We know that labor is messy. We know that labor is painful. We know that it usually takes longer than we would like, and we don't know what it's like until we are in the throes of it. So if you are going through a process of giving birth in the labor phase, stick with it. You're doing it right. We got to let go of those expectations of what we expect it to look like. These are all for your growth, for your evolution, for you to be able to take care of this new thing that's coming. If you have given birth to something new and you are now the proud new parent of a career, a relationship, you might be in the honeymoon phase, you might be in that new mother or father phase, there is a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And we just want you to check in with yourself. Of course, you love this new thing that you have given birth to. But I would like to give you an example, a real life example from my life about birthing something and then having to understand boundaries with it. So when I create a piece of art, when I make a painting, when I create a pair of earrings or jewelry, you could imagine how weird it would be and how exhausting it would be. And it would take the joy out of that thing if I then micromanaged the life of that creation. Now, this is going to apply in different ways to different things. Of course, if you have a child, you are responsible for raising them. If you have a business, you have to guide it and have specific hours and boundaries and all of these things. There's different stages and life cycles, but be careful and be checking in with yourself to see if you are micromanaging it to have a specific expectation or outcome that is actually no longer your responsibility. These things that take on new life are just that, they are new life. And then we have to check in with ourselves to say, what is my responsibility to this thing that I birthed? Sometimes things take on a life of their own. Sometimes we are only the custodian of the land that we purchased. Most of the time, that might be true for everyone. So just check in with ourselves and see and ask. You can talk to your creations like you talk to your spirit guides. And if you don't talk to your spirit guides, let me give you a tip right now. You can talk to your spirit guides like you talk to your best friend. And when you ask questions, you will receive answers. The answers may not come in the form that you're expecting. So be on the lookout. If you ask your spirit guide a question, or you ask that creation that you made a question, just keep your eyes open, because you might receive a message and a sign on the street and a conversation where somebody says something to you, and you'll get that intuitive hit, and you'll know when the answer comes what that answer is. Okay. I'm going to end this part of the channeled message for birth and that message that came through, and I am grateful for it. If you have any questions about this, or if it's resonating with you and you need to go a little deeper, feel free to click below and set up an appointment with me. Now we're going to go into the pick a card oracle card reading. If you picked card number 1, this card is from the Archetypes Wild Unknown by Krans. And this card is the Venom. This is a tool. This message is for hope and healing. So it might sting a little because we're talking about venom. We're talking about toxicity and purification. Purification does not mean that you are bad, that you need to be punished, that you've done something wrong and now you must pay. That's not what purification is. Purification is unearthing the truth of ourselves, being in alignment with our truth, being in alignment with our word, acting from a place of wholeness, from our higher knowing. So if this card is what you picked, Venom can come in many different forms. We are bringing to the surface all of the toxicity in our thoughts towards ourselves and thoughts towards others. Those thoughts that we have in our mind that are constant judging, constant berating of our friends, our family, or the things about ourselves that we do not like are venomous. They are toxic. They can create a turbulent mind. And those are the things that need to be purged. And when I say they need to be purged, they need to come out and show themselves in our lives so we see them. They're no longer hiding in the shadow. We're no longer unaware of them. They come up in ways that are very uncomfortable. When these things surface and they are uncomfortable and they make us feel bad, the way that we heal this type of inner mental abuse is to love that part of us that is so harsh and critical, the shadow of the perfectionist that says you never do anything right, that it has to be perfect, and you lose the magic in the thing because then you're just trying to make it so tidy and perfect and neat. That is a shadow that comes up to be revealed, a part of you that you do not accept, that wants to be accepted, a part of you that was never seen as a child that needs to be loved. So the way that we heal the judge, the perfectionist, the victim, when we notice it in our mind, in that mental dialogue that we constantly have going on, when we notice it, we love it. We say it's okay. If you place your hand on your heart, this soothes your nervous system. You can even give yourself a hug. There are studies now in neurology that show that hugging yourself, placing your hand on your heart, connects the mind and the heart and heals the nervous system. So that is a good place for you to start and say, it's okay. I love you. It doesn't have to be perfect. You are still worthy. You are always worthy. It's okay that I caught myself judging these people over here because I was feeling inadequate. And I'm still worthy. And the more we practice that, the more we purify by bringing light to our shadows. Think of purification as bringing light to something, embodying more light. When we embody more light, we embody more truth. We can speak truth to those dark parts of us to help heal and integrate them. Venom can also come in the form of the way we react and speak to people. Boy, do I know this one. This seems to be one of my lifelong purification journeys that I am not proud of, but I'm telling you this, I'm leveling with you because I am human, you are human. Doesn't matter how long we are on the spiritual journey. It's the humanness that gets us every time. That's why we're here. That's why we're having these lives. So we're integrating the humanness with the spiritual aspect of us. I believe this is what we are evolving through in our time and beyond, but we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg with this, is that union, the union of the psychic and spirit and body, fully embodying in our cells, in our DNA, our abilities as souls in human form. Where was I going? Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the venom with the speaking. So I'm going to give you an example for me, what I notice for myself that I am really, really wanting to bring into wholeness in my life is when I push myself too far when I don't get enough sleep, when I am in an environment where I feel uncomfortable, where I am around too many people and I don't get enough downtime. I get too much in my mind, and it's hard for me to separate events that are happening right in front of me from all of the loud noise in my mind. And when that happens, it's harder for me to pause in my mind before I react. So I'm working on healing this. I want to be able to think consciously before I react and snap if I'm feeling overwhelmed. And especially right now in these holiday moments when we are around so many people, seeing more family than we ever see, going more places than we ever go, always having to be on point and not resting enough. That'll get you every time, because then we don't have space to be conscious. And since we're human, this applies to everyone. I don't care who you are, unless you're the Dalai Lama. So we are not the Dalai Lama. Let's just get that straight. So the opportunity for healing the venom of snapping at people, speaking rudely, is giving ourselves more better boundaries, time and space that we know that we need. And I deeply feel that one. So my heart goes out to you if that's you as well, because then what happens is we can find ourselves in a mental loop of self-punishment after we've snapped, then saying, oh gosh, why did I do that? And then start mentally punishing ourselves. In that moment, self-acceptance, love, and forgiveness is what is called for. If you are experiencing toxicity and venom in the form of a relationship, you may be finding yourself in a codependent relationship. And what I mean by codependent is needing to control, disempower, or manipulate someone else in order to feel security. Now, we are definitely codependent with a lot of things, and there's a scale. So 0 being the normal amount of codependency to be alive and have a healthy ego that for actual survival, down to 10 being you are very manipulative and overbearing and draining the life out of people to get your way, because that's your sense of safety and security. If you are in a codependent relationship and someone is draining the life out of you, it is toxic. In seeing your responsibility to that situation, you have to look at yourself and say, why am I letting this person drain the life out of me? It might be because chances are you find value in being there for that person, in holding them up, in being manipulated by them in the ways that they need, because you feel your sense of self-worth in serving that person. I'm not telling you you are wrong. I am bringing this up as a check-in, checking in with yourself. Do you need to take better care of yourself? Do you need to first nourish yourself before you jump to rescue that person? Are things out of balance? Can you bring it back into balance? In what ways can you bring it back into balance? Does there need to be better communication between you and your loved one? Do you need to speak up and say, hey, this is too much for me, and I found myself just giving and giving because I love you so much, but I have lost myself in the process? These are hard things to say. These are hard realizations to have. And I feel that you are at the precipice of really standing in your power, not in a forceful way, in a self-aware way of compassion and forgiveness. Thank you for opening your heart to this message. If you need some help, I am happy to do a reading with you. That is my favorite way to serve, because for me, we really, really get to the bottom of those things that are creating a lot of suffering in our lives. If this message resonates with you, please share it, save it, like it, subscribe. I will be holding a moon circle that I don't want to get too much into right now because I want to continue this video, but look in my link below if you are interested in a daily devotional practice where you have a community that meets once a month. And let's continue on in this card reading now. Pick a card, Oracle card reading, pile number 2. If you chose card number 2, the bridge is your card. There are 2 hands here holding a bridge of rainbow light over water. So my question for you, group number 2, is where are you feeling disconnected in your life? Are there relationships that you long to have better communication with? Extending a hand with love, not with anger or fear, extending a hand to help, giving yourself permission to make a new friend, to join a community. Maybe you are feeling lonely and isolated, and it's time for you to step out into the world, find some people with like minds and hobbies that resonate with you. That could be a bridge that you are creating for your well-being. Are you feeling disconnected from your spirit? A bridge to my spirit every day is my meditation practice. You can look for a daily practice. You can try new things such as painting, dancing, praying, anything that connects you with your spirit. Start showing up for yourself and seeing those steps that you take towards that connection as a bridge that you are building. Maybe you need to forgive yourself or forgive someone else, and you need to create a bridge of forgiveness. And sometimes when we forgive other people, it's best if we don't tell them. Sometimes they don't want to know, and we're actually forgiving them for ourselves. So we're doing this to free ourselves from that toxicity of anger and hate and pain. So if you are in a place right now where someone has done you wrong and you do need to forgive them, you can do that right now wherever you're sitting, intentionally from your heart. Just say that you forgive the person. Say what you are forgiving them for. Tell them you love them. Talk like they're sitting right there. And like I said earlier, if you're looking for a connection with your spirit guides, start a dialogue, start writing them letters, start speaking to them. That is also creating a bridge. Okay, thank you, pile number 2, for showing up today. We're going on to pile number 3 now. If you picked card number 3, this group is the vision. Group number 3, how connected do you feel to your vision in life, to your dreams, to those things that really light you up and give you life force energy to keep moving forward and doing those things with passion? You know, when we're around people who have great vision, we feel energized. When we share our dreams with our friends, we feel excited. And I just love those times that we get in those wonderful creative think tanks with friends and we get these exciting ideas. That's one of my favorite things about going to Burning Man each year. Last year, when I didn't think that I was going, I was really sad because I didn't think that I was going to have time to imagine and create my costumes, which is, to me, the funnest part. I love that creative process of imagining and dreaming and bringing it to life. So whatever it is for you, maybe you like to cook and you haven't cooked for a while, and it is that process of coming up with something that tastes good and making it for your friends. Maybe you like to garden and it's starting to get cold outside. You could maybe think of taking care of some houseplants. Whatever it is that really gets your creative juices flowing, of dreaming, this is your call to action, to restoke that fire, to hang around people who have this energy so you can replenish your life force energy. This is just one tool of replenishing your life force energy. Have some fun with creative ideas. Whatever it is that you're doing today, try to think of one creative thing, of one silly, wacky, far out there dream. Something that maybe you thought of when you were a child that really excited you. Just let yourself dream. Thank you for coming this week and watching these videos. I adore you for allowing me to share my gift. So if you are looking for a personal reading, click on the link below. It's my favorite thing to do and my favorite way to serve. And I will see you next week.